please welcome the engineers. Under-18 USA. Once again, good afternoon, and welcome everyone to Rensselaer. And here's the fieldhouse for today's matchup between the U.S. National Under-18 team and your Rensselaer's of Engineers of Rensselaer. Let's meet the starting lineups for both teams. First, for the USA Under-18 team, starting in the goal from Wind Gap, Pennsylvania, number 29, Edwin Minnick. At left defense from Skokie, Illinois, number 24, Louis Delpedio. At right defense from Golden Valley, Minnesota, number 8, Jack Glover. The starting forwards for Team USA. At left wing, number 9, from Chaska, Minnesota, Shane Bursich. At center from Manhasset, New York, number 21, Ryan Hitchcock. And at right wing from Aquana, Wisconsin, number 7, Anders Bjork. The rest of Team USA, their head coach is Stanton Cole. Now let's meet the starting lineup for the Engineers of RPI. Leading your engineers out on the ice, the junior engineer, please welcome number 20, Will Lenowitz. Starting in goal, a freshman from Republic, Maryland, number 1, Jake Soccer. At left defense, a junior from Chester, Connecticut, number 5, Luke Karate. At right defense, a freshman from Edina, Minnesota, number 2, Parker Marino. Starting forward for the Engineers, at left wing, a junior from Middlesex, Ontario, number 9, Matt Neal. At center for the Engineers, of senior from Kingston, Ontario, number 23, Brock Hicks. And at right wing, a junior from Stamford, Connecticut, number 39, Ryan Haggerty. The rest of the Engineers, their head coach is Seth Abbott. The assistant coaches, Brian Vines, Nolan Graham, and Kirk McDonald. And now, we ask that you please stand, remove your hats for the playing of the national anthems of Canada and the United States of America.
is going to have to really pick them up.
And those basically the top two lines for the Engineers as they win the faceoff in the neutral zone. Leonard's going to push it ahead in, where it's going to be picked up by Collins for Team USA. Does battle with Zaleski along the boards. Now Stevens in the corner will send it out of the zone, but it's going to go the length of the ice. That is icing on Team USA as Guy Leboeuf hits the faceoff dot.
I think we're actually seeing a different combination here. Zalewski, DeVito, McGowan. I think normally Bubella is on the second line with Zalewski, but Coach Appert has been mixing them up a lot this weekend.
Certainly for the exhibition contest, we'll see a lot of jumbled lines here.
Sure we'll see a lot of
the Engineers win the faceoff in the Team USA zone. Stolen away quickly by Jared Feigl. He brings it out with the pass to Pavlik across the red line. Shot saved by Soffer, and the rebound is scored by Feigl. Jake Soffer made the initial stop, but the puck bounced to the side. Feigl was right there to one-time it directly into the back of the net. And Team USA takes a 1-0 lead just a minute and 6 seconds into the game.
Yeah, I think those were the first two shots that Soffer had a look at. That was really an intelligent shot by Pavlik, low and to the far pad, and wouldn't you know it, Soffer kicked it straight out to the driving goal spot.
Feigl, a 6'1", 208 forward from Parker, Colorado, will be matriculating at the University of Denver next year. RPI fans certainly have had their fill of the Pioneers this weekend as we get back underway. The Engineers moving the puck through the neutral zone. Zach Schrader tries to move forward, but he's rubbed off the play by Doherty. And now RPI fighting for it in the USA zone. Doherty comes away with it, and he'll just backtrack and set up, trying to move the puck into the neutral zone. Gets it to Larkin, and now to Alex Tuck. Tuck to Milano as USA rolling their top line right now. Intercepted by Tenorti, who brings it into the neutral zone. He'll just dump it in as the Engineers change behind the play. Schrader goes in to contest for it with about 4 blue bodies. The puck squirts out in the neutral zone. Now Milano coming quickly up the side, takes a shot saved by Soffer. Had to take a wide-angle shot that was blocked away. Now fighting for it behind the RPI cage is Karate, and it's Rogic that'll come away with it. Rogic gets it up ice for Fulton. Fulton coming along the near boards, comes up on the goal line, comes back around the net, has the puck taken away from him, and now Team USA looks to counter, but Guy Leboeuf swats it away just as it goes over the blue line. Belpedio is back to try to set up once again for Team USA, but it's stolen by the Engineers. Doing a good job of forechecking here. That was Bourbonnais. Now Leboeuf keeps it in for RPI, and USA goes back to collect again. This is Wagner. Leaves it behind for McLeod. Now McLeod pushes out to Wegworth at the blue line. He tries to pass it, but he whiffs on the pass. And Team USA still can't get it out of their own zone as Haggerty goes in on the forecheck. Now Team USA moving it out. This is Wagner getting it ahead, looking for Wegworth, but it's going to go too far, and Leboeuf will collect behind the RPI net. Team USA grabs the puck. Wagner gets it ahead to Wegworth, and we're going to see a hand pass against the, I guess you'd call them the national team. We'll see the faceoff head back into their zone.
The development team, whatever you want to call them.
Exactly. 17 minutes left in the first period. It is 1-0 Team USA. Just a reminder, you're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey here on 91.5 FM WRPI Troy. My name is Tom Reel. I'm joined today by Tio Camadella. Team USA wins the faceoff. They can't get it out of the RPI zone as Reno unleashes a shot from the point that's blocked in front. Now it gets back to Reno. Now Haggerty on the side. Haggerty gets a shot. That's saved away by Edwin Minnie, the USA goaltender. Now a shot by Craig Bokenfor is also saved by Minnie, the Michigan State commit. Now a shot by Haggerty in the slot is saved by Minnie. He gets his own rebound, comes back around, gets it up to Bokenfor. Now Leonard pushes it into the slot for Neal, whose shot goes wide. Now Higgs does battle in the corner. He's down there with Belpedio. As the Engineers try to maintain possession, they do, but they end up having to clear it out of the zone. Now Leonard brings it back in, just pushes it down as he tries to get around Glover and can't. And Team USA pulls up with Zaleski in the corner. Zaleski's going to come away with it. It comes to the net, takes a shot, just goes wide. DeVito pushes it back into the corner, and it's picked up there by McGowan. McGowan can't get the puck around Hitchcock, and now it's Glover coming out of the USA zone. He'll cross the red line and just dump it down as his team changes behind him. That's picked up very quickly by the Engineers, and they're moving forward again. McGowan can't control the pass, and it's picked up by Team USA in their zone. Here's Pavlik moving across ice to Stevens. Now Feigl, the goal scorer, takes a shot that goes high over the net. The rebound is picked up by Team USA, and that also goes wide. And this one will skate all the way down back to the USA zone. Both teams now changing as the Americans set up behind their own net. It's Fortunato, Harvard commit, moving it across the blue line. And it's taken by Larkin. Larkin is being harassed by some RPI forechecking, and USA is going all the way back behind their own net. 14:53 left in the first period. Team USA with a 1-0 lead on the Engineers here early on. The goal scored by Jared Feigl. RPI getting a couple of opportunities, but still haven't been able to put one past Edwin Minnie. Team USA just having a hard time getting it out of their own zone. They're passing back and forth. The RPI forecheck doing a good job, led by Matt Tenorti and Milos Rubella. Now the Engineers take control, but Tenorti loses the handle on it, and it's taken by Milano. Milano tries to get it up out of the zone. Karate looked like he was going to take it, but it hopped over his stick and out, and he has to go give chase. And the Engineers looking to move once again, but they still can't get the puck tape to tape through the neutral zone. Karate goes back to collect. Karate with a D-to-D pass to Bo Dolan. Dolan now will try to move it around as we switch positions. The USA forecheck now getting in the way of RPI moving it out of their own zone. The puck ends up down in the USA zone, and McLeod goes back to pick up, being harassed by Travis Fulton. Doherty back to McLeod as the Americans move out of their own zone. McLeod crosses the red line and dumps it in. Parker Reno's going to be the first one to be there, but they're going to call this icing, as they're going to say McLeod was not over the red line when he dumped it.
Yeah, good pressure from RPI so far. The U.S. is handling it, though. Minnie really standing tall back there. He's a big body and made a few good saves there in that last passage.
6'4" native of Wind Gap, Pennsylvania, will be off to Michigan State next year. In fact, all but 2 players on this U.S. Under-18 team ready to be playing college hockey next season, and for most of them for some very big-time teams. Engineers win the faceoff. They try to connect a couple of passes, but the Americans come away with the puck. Now Fulton trying to bring the puck back into the RPI zone. He's successful, but it's taken by Larkin. Larkin moves it with a cross-ice pass to Ryan Bliss, who's down for Cornell in the fall. USA now doing battle. Ragnar with a quick shot is saved by Soffer. Soffer tried to grab it, but ends up going over into the corner. Now Wegworth turns and fires, and that's blocked in front. Looked like it hit off of Leonard. Johnny Rodgick grabs it and tries to wing it off the near boards. Finally gets it out. Bourbonnais will just tip it in. That goes in on goal, and Minnie had to stick his leg out to keep that from going into the net. Belpedio brings the puck out for the Americans. Gets it across the red line and dumps it in, where it's picked up by Bokenfour. Aaron pass was picked up by Team USA, and their shot is wide. Matt Neal goes back into the corner to pick it up. Neal comes away with it. And now moving up the near boards. Tries to pass to Bokenfour, but goes behind him. He has to go turn around to pick it up. That blunts the Engineers' momentum. Now Team USA looking to break out the other way. Here comes Bjork down the corner. Drops into the corner, and now the net has been dislodged. And we'll have a face-off in the RPI zone.
I'm impressed with the USA so far, Tom. Keeping it simple, steady through the neutral zone, 1 or 2 passes, and then they rely on their speed, making smart shots to the net low and to the pads to Soffer to try and make him kick out some rebounds.
12:13 left in the first period. Team USA has a 1-0 lead as the faceoff comes, and the Engineers come away with the victory. Bokenfour drops his man behind the RPI net as the Engineers can't control the puck after winning the faceoff. Higgs goes into the corner and picks it up. Tries to find Neal with a cross-ice pass. He eventually comes up with it, and he drops it backwards for Chris Bradley. Now Haggerty coming up the near corner. Tries to pass it to Higgs on the backhand, but goes behind him, and that'll allow Team USA to go the other way with it. This is Bjork. Drops it off for Hitchcock. Hitchcock takes a shot that goes wide of the net to the right. To the left. Now DeVito up to LaBeouf, gets it out of the zone. RPI tries to gain the zone. DeVito rushes in after the puck After Zaleski taps it in, Team USA regains control and moves back the other way through the neutral zone. Zaleski is able to take it off of the stick of Feigl. And now RPI going the other way with it. This is McGowan across the red line. Will dump it in. DeVito gives chase as Minnie goes behind the net to stop it. Minnie shoots it up. Zaleski tries to grab it, but the puck squirts away to Feigl, who gets up to Pavlik. Pavlik now moving along the far boards. Ends up on his backside, but still manages to dump it in. Gets it up and around to Nolan Stevens. Now to Doherty, the point. Over to Fortunato at the other side of the blue line. The shot is up into the netting.
Just a good hard-working shift from the third line of the USA there. Stevens, Feigl, Pavlik, they were pretty successful in breaking out against the Engineers' second line.
And of course, that line has the only goal thus far this afternoon, scored by Feigl, the assist to Dylan Pavlik. Face-off in the neutral zone is won by the Engineers. Bradley gets it up to Schrader, intercepted in the neutral zone by Doherty, and he'll just push it down the ice. Reno behind his own net. Almost has it taken away by Tuck, as Bradley also loses handle, and USA recovers it. Up to Fortunato at the point. Fortunato's shot goes wide. Software, I think, thought that might have been going on net. Now Bubella in the corner. Trying to work it behind the RPI net. And he gets it up to Tenorti. They get it out into the neutral zone, but Team USA is there to recover control. Fortunato moves it across the logo. Gets across the red line. He'll dump it in as Team USA goes off on a change. Sonny Milano goes in to try and maintain control of the puck, but it's Parker Reno coming away with it. Now Schrader up along the far boards. Gets it to Bubella. Bubella moves across the blue line. Has Tenorti with him. Bubella is basically tied up by Belpedio as Team USA recovers and goes the other way with it. This is Milano. Loses control of the puck with a nice hit, but it's going to be a penalty coming up on the Engineers. It's going to be a tripping call.
Yeah, Milano was just about to step around him, I think, and he stuck his leg out in desperation.
Guess it wasn't such a nice hit after all, as Tenorti's going to go off on the trip. With 9:39 left in the first period, the Engineers trailing 1-0, and they'll be on the penalty kill for the first time this evening.
Yeah, a lot of speed from the USA, a lot of skill. Obviously, they're young, but a lot of raw talent through that penalty.
Face off to the left of Jake Soffer. It's won by the Engineers. Neal tips it back for Dolan. Dolan tries to power it around, but it's kept in by McLeod. But it's ultimately moved out by Neal. Engineers push it back down into their own zone to Dolan, and he'll just whip it right down the ice to allow RPI to set back up on the penalty kill. Just about 20 seconds into the penalty to Tenorti. The USA power play coming down ice. Hitchcock comes into the zone, but he's whistled for offsides.
Yep, just barely offsides, coming in a little flat, sort of all five of them flanking each other.
You know, sometimes when they go back there and set up behind the net, they're getting their set play for the power play. It's almost like you expect something like that not to happen.
Yeah, Engineers did a good job tying them up there in the neutral zone.
RPI wins the face-off. Reno takes it behind his own net, tries to power it out, but it's stopped at the point by Belpedio. Belpedio gets it over to his opposite D-man. That is McLeod. It's tapped by McGowan, who's racing into the RPI zone. Drops it for Rogic, who was all alone, but a nice play by Belpedio to just poke check the puck away. Stops Rogic from having an opportunity to score shorthanded. The Americans setting back up now and moving down ice again on the power play. 1 minute left on the man advantage. Hitchcock being held up by LaBeouf going into the corner. Milano is the one that comes away with it. Sonny Milano turns, trying to get around Leonard and drop it back to the point for Doherty. Doherty up for Alex Tuck, who can't control the pass. And it'll be brought forward by LaBeouf. Taking to the blue line now. It is Milano. And it's going to be sent out of the zone by Milos Bubella, who picked up the pass from Curtis Leonard along the far boards as the Americans set back up with 25 seconds left on the power play. Fortunato bringing it back up ice. Drops it off for Larkin. Larkin tries to dump it in the zone and give chase himself. He's not the first one of the puck, but Team USA still maintains control. A Tuck behind the net. Drops it in front. A really close shot there by Larkin, and Soffer is there to make the save, and he covers up.
A good penalty kill pressure from the Engineers. In that chance there, a D-man both got caught looking at the puck behind the goal line, and Soffer makes a good save. But
gave Alex Tuck an awful lot of space to work with behind the net. The 6'3" forward from Baldwinsville, New York, is off to Boston College next year. They don't take too many scrubs to Boston College. He's got some skill. 7 seconds left on the power play as Engineers win the faceoff and just send it down ice, so that should do it for RPI's first penalty kill of the afternoon. They are 1 for 1. As Tenorti leaves the box, Ryan Haggerty rejoins play on the ice. We're back to 5-side. Fortunato brings it across the blue line for the Americans as they set up in the RPI zone. Haggerty goes back behind the net to collect, and now we'll see a battle for the puck in the far corner. It is Bradley that comes away with it. And we'll have a whistle here. Offsides, perhaps?
didn't see what happened.
Not sure what the whistle is here, but it's going to be a face-off in the RPI zone.
Puck out of play.
Possibly a puck out of play. The lone scratch for the Team USA today is Jack Eichel, who's really their superstar. He's a Boston College commit, but he is in Grand Forks taking part in the World Junior Camp, playing with a bunch of guys that are certainly older than he is. So kind of a break for the Engineers to be avoiding the Americans' top star here this afternoon. Action now in the American zone as Stevens brings it behind his own net. Tries to drop it for Glover. Glover eventually comes up with it, although he was hassled by Rogic in front, who steals the pass from point-blank range in the slot. Saved by Minnie. Fulton now doing battle behind the net. Can't come away with it, and USA looks to break out with Pavlik across the blue line. Tries to get it to Feigl, bounces off him and into the RPI zone. Reno goes back behind the end boards, or back to the end boards, I should say, to pick it up. Now a battle along the end boards, won by Rogic, who comes away with it. He now ties up with his man. RPI comes away with it. This is Fulton moving through the neutral zone, trying to push forward, but it's taken by Ryan Collins. And now that'll just head back into the zone as the Engineers just want to change.
Close to too many men there.
6 minutes left in the first period. We have a 1-0 score in favor of the U.S. Under-18 team. Ryan Haggerty intercepts on their logo. Tries to get it ahead to Neal, but he's checked as he passes, and Team USA takes over. Now a headman pass by Collins up to Wagner. Takes a shot, goes over the net. It's like they're going to say it was deflected and into the netting, which means we'll have a face-off coming up in the RPI zone.
Again, the USA team just keeping it simple. One pass, headman the puck, drives the net, drop to a high guy for a quick shot.
There's Wagner versus Higgs on this draw to the right of Soffer. Higgs comes away with it. Brings it back to Karate behind the RPI net. Karate along the near boards to Neal. McLeod is just going to kick it into the RPI zone. Leonard will have to go back to retrieve. Leonard leads for Karate. Karate up to Neal. Neal with a touch pass to Higgs. Higgs gains the zone, puts it into the slot, but there's nobody home. Picked up by Doherty. He'll send it the length of the ice, where it's picked up by Wagner. Wagner with a tight angle shot is saved by Soffer, and it's grabbed instead by the Engineers. Move forward with Higgs with a wide shot from the top of the blue line. And the Americans are able to get it out. Higgs is there to pick it up. He's being harassed by Anders Bjork. Gets it over to Bradley, who'll just shoot it down ice. And Team USA goes back behind their own net to set up. McGowan and DeVito are the pressure for the Engineers. And Zaleski along the far boards as McLeod brings it across the blue line. Tries to get to Hitchcock, but it bounces off of his legs. Intercepted by McGowan on the logo. Here's McGowan bringing it into the zone. Team USA grabs it and just squirts it back out. Now Zaleski and Bjork doing battle near the RPI bench. DeVito sends it back into the zone. And now McGowan loses the race to the puck with Jack Glover. But the Engineers keep it in with DeVito, at first at least. And then he falls over, the puck goes out, and we're going to have a hooking call coming up against Team USA because DeVito ended up going down with Anders Bjork's stick wrapped around his waist.
Yep, it was a good play, just kept his feet going. Game's slowing down a little bit here. Seems like the Engineers have sort of backed off the pressure you saw last time. They were down low, running a high trap.
4:13 left in the first period. Team USA up 1-0. RPI going to their first power play of the game. Ryan Haggerty takes a shot from the top of the slot. It goes just wide. Team USA collects, sends it down ice where Haggerty will grab it just north of the face-off dot. RPI comes around the net, and they start to move back through the zone. Neal sends it to Haggerty along the blue line. Haggerty just kind of glides in, loses an edge and goes down. Tough break for the Engineers, but then a tough break for Team USA as they try to clear it out and end up shooting it into their own bench.
Yeah, obviously the Engineers are keying on Haggerty at the point with the hot stick. They got 4 forwards and 1 D-man, and obviously they're trying to work Haggerty off that right-hand wall.
1:32 left in the penalty to Bjork. The shots on goal, as shown on the screen, are clearly wrong, as they show Team USA with 33 shots. That's probably left over from last night as the Engineers get a shot from Tenori. That's a save by Mini. Bubella had an opportunity, but he put it over the net. And now Team USA is going to get that sent out. Probably the best opportunity the Engineers have had to score so far this afternoon.
Definitely.
As Bubella misses on a point-blank opportunity. Didn't have a fully wide net, but he had a pretty decent shot. Now Leonard is going to begin the breakout from the RPI zone. Passes up to Bubella, who crosses the blue line. And Bubella gets absolutely leveled. That was a hit by Nolan. I'm sorry, that was Jonathan McLeod. Leveled a perfect check on Bubella. That ends up with the puck all the way back down in the RPI zone. Great check there by McLeod. Matt Neal tries to find Higgs with a long pass. Doesn't connect, but Mini ends up coming out of his net to play it. Goes behind the net, and Team USA tries to clear it out, but it's kept in by Dolan at the point. Dolan working with it now. Passes over to Neal. Neal skates into the face-off dot. Tries to get to Nolan, but it glances off, or Dolan, I should say, but it glances off of his stick and back into the RPI zone. Dolan collects and gets it up to Neal at the blue line. Neal passes across for Haggerty. Haggerty at the far boards. Zaleski behind the net. Zaleski comes back along the far boards, curls around, and drops it off for Neal. Neal on the far boards drops it to Zaleski behind the net. Now Neal on the far boards, between his legs to Haggerty at the point. Now Dolan in the face-off dot. Takes a shot that's saved by Mini. I didn't see where the puck ended up afterwards. Might be in his glove. There's some pushing and shoving in front now as Zaleski was doing battle, trying to collect the puck. The power play is over. We're back to 5-a-side, and there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on in front of Mini.
Yeah, everybody's getting a little antsy. I think the Engineers might be getting a tiny bit frustrated. Mini, like I said, standing real tall in net. Made a good save through a screen and just hung onto the puck in his trapper there.
If you're the Engineers, you don't like getting pushed around by these guys because they're all younger. This is the Under-18 team, and there's no one under the age of 18 on the Engineers, so it might be a little bit of a pride thing.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely the Engineers should probably expect their experience to help them out, but obviously a lot of talent, good skill on the USA team.
Larkin against Rogic in the Team USA zone. Won by Rogic, and Karate will backhand it back into the zone, deep into the zone. Bourbonnais tries to grab it. It's picked up by McLeod. Now Doherty behind the net. Loses it to Fulton. Bourbonnais behind the Team USA net. Thinks about wrapping it around, but instead comes along the far boards. Tries to take the puck back with him behind the net. Loses control of it, but now Fulton grabs. And Fortunato comes away. Brandon Fortunato, the Harvard University commit. So we'll be seeing him in the future here at the Fieldhouse. Tries to cross the logo, but he has it tapped away by Fulton. He just sends it back over to Doherty. Doherty with a headman pass to Larkin. Drops it into the zone. Karate goes to grab, and it's taken instead by Bokenfor behind the RPI net. Circles around. D-to-D pass to Karate. Karate now moving the puck forward. Puts it off the far boards. Trying to get ahead for Schrader, who can't grab it. Now Tenori's just going to send it down. The Engineers change behind the play. Schrader pressuring the puck. And now Tenori tries to lay a check, but misses his man. And Buff sends it all the way back down into the USA zone. Tenori just tried to lay a hit on McLeod. Maybe a little bit of retribution for his hit on Bubel earlier, as just the physicality in this game is certainly picking up considerably here in the final minute of the first period. Here's LeBoeuf behind his own net. Tenorti along the near boards. Tenorti crosses the red line and sends it in. Gets sandwiched between Bliss and Wagner. And now Tenorti is basically hog-tying Bliss. And now there's a giant scrum going on along the blue line. Tenorti is certainly going to go. And now Tenorti is really going to put himself in trouble here. He's grabbing McLeod by the face mask, and that is a definite no-no.
Yeah, not sure if that's particularly what you want from the guy wearing the C on your team, but he's probably just trying to get his guys energized, get him going after that hit on Bubella over there in the corner. It was a good play by McLeod. Saw Bubella dance around one of his players and stepped up and sent a message, but I think all he did was energize the Engineers more than his own team.
Tenorti was laying on Bliss at the blue line. Bliss and Wegworth are in the box for Team USA. Tenorti and Zaleski for the Engineers.
Yeah, Tenorti did sort of get squashed between a couple of USA guys. I think he took a little exception to that. I'm sure they exchanged words down there on the ice, too.
Tenorti obviously graduating at the end of the year as a senior, but Bliss, 6'1" forward from Chelmsford, Massachusetts. He's another guy we'll be seeing here in the future at Houston Fieldhouse, as he will be off to Ithaca, New York to play for the Cornell Big Red next season. So we'll see what's being meted out here. A face masking penalty, if it is picked up by Tenorti, is usually considered a 5-minute major. We're not seeing any times up on the board. So roughing penalty against Wegworth. And Bliss also for roughing. Probably assume that Tenorti and Zaleski are also off for roughing here with 27 seconds left in the first period as Team USA wins the face-off and tries to head back down. Reno is holding up Feigl, the goal scorer, at the blue line. And the puck ends up behind the RPI zone. It's collected by LeBoeuf. Gets it up out of the zone. Higgs across the red line, across the blue line. Tries to get around Glover. And now into the zone. I should say behind the net. Goes Higgs. Drops it for LeBoeuf, who's way deep in the zone. Brings it around the net. But there's no more time left in the first period. Team USA holds a 1-0 lead after 20 minutes. Dale, your thoughts?
Yeah, you know, it's shaping up to be pretty good. A lot of energy here at the end of the period, which I like to see. You know, the Engineers, like we said earlier, it's their third game in some 48 hours here, so they're looking a little slow. I wouldn't say sluggish, but maybe just not quite putting all the passes together and making it happen. Not quite as much pressure down low as you usually see, and the USA team is having a pretty easy time breaking out so far.
I had the opportunity to talk to some of the officials from Team USA before the game started. They said that they thought that these guys were maybe looking ahead to tonight's game yesterday while they were playing Utica. And Utica College is really no slouch for a Division III team. But generally speaking, you'd expect a team of guys that are going to be playing Division I hockey next year.
And the team is sponsored by Stride Adaptive Sports. Very excited to show you the awesome sport of sled hockey. And remember, find out more by visiting the Stride table located at the Engineers Pride area of the arena. And please support Stride and Sled Warriors. events remaining in this exhibition. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for Stride Capital District Sled Warriors. John Metcalf, Derek Gallo, Stefan Stilwell, Luke Wilson. Thank you, guys. Good luck. And remember, fans, stop by the Stride table near the Engineers Quiet area and support Stride and the Sled Warriors. Ryan Twig, proud to support RPI Athletics. Head downtown after the game and check out the new Post Kitchen and Ryan Twig. RPI Hockey would like to thank the following sponsors: GE, Moe's, Septic, CDPA, CDPHP, The Run, Bank of America, Ganning, Montgomery Scott, Kershaw, Asco Fence, Yankee Trail, Restaurant Pizza, Dry City Rentals, EP Go, Carrabba's, Army, Troy Cabinet Makers, Ben and Jerry's, Warren W. Fain, William K. Keller and Sons Construction, and the Tri-City Valley Cats, all proud sponsors of RPI Hockey. And we'd like to remind you that the Autism Society of the Greater Capital District is selling t-shirts near the Engineers Pride area at the west end of the field house for donation. Donate some money and get a free t-shirt to the Autism Society of the Greater Capital District, part of autism awareness. And RPI Hockey is proud to support the Autism Awareness Day here at the field house. RPI Hockey would like to thank Stadium Cafe, Rensselaer Summer Programs, Rensselaer Alumni Association, Agro Companies, Bombers Burrito Bar, Sodexo, Subway, the Hilton Garden Inn, the Recovery Sports Group, E. Stewart Jones Plumber, Hockey Giant, Hampton Inn and Suites, RPI Bookstore, Rensselaer Honda, Chipotle, Domino's Pizza, the United Group, Flyhoppers, Turner Construction, and Saratoga Eagle Sales and Service, all proud sponsors of RPI Hockey.
And we are back once more from the Houston Fieldhouse on the campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York. We get set to bring you the second period of today's exhibition contest between Team USA and the RPI Engineers. The U.S. Under-18 National Development Program has a 1-0 lead over RPI as it gets set to bring you the second period of today's game.
I'd just like to thank the Rensselaer Union for providing funding for WRPI and all club-related activities on campus, including WRPI's coverage of hockey, football, and baseball. And I'd like to remind you, WRPI is on the web. You can go to WRPI.org and listen 24/7. Once again, that's WRPI.org.
Teams have switched sides. The Engineers now skating from left to right across your radio dial as we get underway in the second period. And RPI wins the opening faceoff, gets it down ice. Team USA grabs it behind their own net, and they start moving it forward. RPI meets them in the neutral zone. And now this is Glover trying to find another way around. RPI doing a good job of bottling up the neutral zone. But now Belpedio brings it just across the blue line, sends it in, and goes wide. Might have been tipped. Karate dumps his man down in the corner. Neal tries to get it over to Higgs, but it's intercepted by Gersich, and now a penalty. And then coming up probably on Karate. Looks like a cross-checking call.
Yeah, I think he did get him. He threw a pretty big check there down in the corner. And
actually, it looks like it's Belpedio going off instead. Belpedio from Skokie, Illinois. Defenseman and a commit to the Miami Redhawks. RPI going on their second power play of the afternoon. They are 0 for 1 thus far. Higgs steps in against Stevens. And the faceoff is won by the Engineers. Haggerty grabs it, sends it back down. And Team USA grabs it and sends it down the ice. And Haggerty will back to collect it. Still early in this power play, 1:47 to go as the Engineers begin their set play. This is Dolan bringing it up ice across his own blue line. Drops it back for Neal. It goes across the logo and gets it up to Bourbonnais. Riley Bourbonnais puts it over to Neal. Now back to Dolan at the point. Dolan drops it for Neal along the far boards. Now back to Higgs behind, and a shot and a score. It's Matt Neal scoring on the power play to make it 1-1.
Yeah, it was just a good play on the overload. They had the player behind the net there, sort of sucked the USA defenseman down in there and left a little space there in the slot.
Really,
a 5-hole shot.
Really kind of a nice setup there by, it's like maybe Tenorti behind the net.
23.
I'm not sure who that was.
Higgs.
I guess it was Brock Higgs then.
Yeah.
Who really made that goal happen is Neal just one time at 5-hole, and we're back to even here early in the second period as RPI converts on the power play, and it is 1-1. Johnny Rodgick has the puck along the logo, brings it into the zone along the near boards, sends it up, met there by Doherty, who gives him a nice shoulder check. Bourbonnais tries to grab for RPI. Puck is out of the zone. Rodgick collects it, sends it over to Fulton. He'll just power it down ice. Bubella with Tuck trying to pressure the puck. Now Tuck behind his own net, brings it around near the far boards, tries to find Larkin with a headman pass, but it's intercepted by Bubella. Bubella into the zone, takes a shot, and it's saved by Minnie, who was standing up as he made the shot, but gets bumped while he's holding it and goes down.
Yeah, a few extracurriculars in front of the USA net. Minnie made a good play to hang on to that shot. It was high, so it was easier to trap than a lower shot might have been from Bubella.
Right now it's listing Matt Neal as the goal scorer. No assists, but I have to think that Brock Higgs is going to be given one eventually.
Should be an assist for Higgs.
He just hasn't been loaded into the system yet. Faceoff coming in the Team USA zone. Bubella wins the faceoff for RPI. Back to Bokenfour at the point. Bokenfour sends it down for McGowan. McGowan behind the net. Sends it in front for Schrader, who just pops it over the net. McGowan gives chase. Now Bubella in the faceoff dot takes a shot that's saved by Minnie, and it's sticked away by McLeod. Now a shot by McGowan in the slot goes high. And Team USA just doing whatever they can to get it out right there. Bubella has to go back and give chase. And it's Schrader up for Bokenfour. Bokenfour bringing it in along the near boards. It's tied up by Belpedio in the corner. Bubella tries to find Schrader, but pass goes behind him, and now to Karate at the point. Schrader can't handle the pass from Karate either. And now Higgs finds Bubella in front, tries to touch it to Schrader in the slot. Wegworth comes away instead, and the puck goes down ice. And Team USA desperately needs to change there. RPI doing a good job of pressuring the puck in the Team USA zone. Pass ahead is intercepted by Billetier in the neutral zone. Now Haggerty with it. So back to Dolan as Dolan backtracks into his own zone. Haggerty tries to get it out, but Feigl keeps it in. And it's back to Dolan behind the net. Dolan swings it back to Karate. Karate behind Jake Soffer. The freshman getting his first game action for the Engineers. Up ahead to Higgs. Higgs over to Haggerty. Haggerty takes a shot that's saved by Minnie. Goes off his shoulder and drops into the slot. RPI can't come up with the rebound. Now Team USA breaks out the other way. This is Stevens. Tries to find Pavlik with the pass. Pavlik ends up having to dump it in after it just bounces off of his stick. RPI now trying to look to break the other way as Zaleski leaves for Neal. Back to Zaleski along the near boards. Zaleski comes in, stops. It's to Reno at the point. Reno fires a shot. That's blocked by Feigl. Goes into the far corner as DeVito does battle with Collins. Now Zaleski trying to get away from Hitchcock. Whiffs on a first pass attempt to DeVito. Now DeVito goes back ahead and in front. An opportunity by Zaleski there as he moved across the slot. Can't really pull the trigger on it. I'm not sure if he actually got a shot there, but at any rate, the puck ends up out of the zone. Reno's got to go back and get it. He'll just try to send it in, but it goes off the far boards, and Team USA gets control there. This is Hitchcock, Ryan Hitchcock, the Yale commit. Moves into the zone, has Gersich with him. And now Bubella will steal it and just send it down to his defenseman as LaBeouf. RPI gets it out of the zone, but it's picked up by Team USA in the neutral zone. Hitchcock across the logo. Gets the zone right next to Gersich. Has Gersich with him. Hitchcock passes it to himself off of the near board and gets it over to Gersich. Gersich passes behind the RPI net, looking for Bjork. Now Bjork trying to get back to Gersich. It's intercepted by Reno. Reno pushes up to Tenorti. Tenorti to Bubella, who doesn't have a stick, and he just kicks it ahead. He's still kicking it ahead. He nearly kicked it through the entire neutral zone by himself until Schrader comes over to help him out. And back to Reno, intercepted by Gersich, who leaves it for Hitchcock. Hitchcock got to Bjork in the slot, and it's blocked away by LaBeouf, who moves now 2-on-2 if he hurries with Fulton. Tries to get it ahead for Fulton. Fulton grabs it as things have settled down now in the zone. Team USA trying to move the puck back up. Bokenford keeps in at the point, sends it back down around the net. Picked up behind by McLeod. Tries to get it up to Bjork. He can't clear the zone either. Fulton gets in the slot but can't kick it to himself. And they'll get out of the zone as Karate grabs it just off the bench. He'll send it back down into Team USA's zone. 14:09 left in the second period. We are tied at 1 in this exhibition game between Team USA and RPI as USA tries to send it down ice with a headman pass that was looking for Tuck, but it eludes him and will have an icing call against the Americans.
Yeah, good hustle by Karate there to beat out the hybrid icing. A little better pressure from the Engineers now, but Minnie still making stops back there. I think it was Neal on that after that bomb by Haggerty. Neal reached around and tapped one, but Minnie stuck his toe out at the last second to make the save.
The assists on the goal by Matt Neal officially to Brock Higgs and Bo Dolan. If it counted, it would have been Neal's 8th goal of the season. Shot by Haggerty off the faceoff. Goes up and way over the netting. So we'll have another faceoff coming up in the Team USA zone, as they'll say it was deflected. 13:57 left here in period number 2. And face off to the left of Edwin Minnie.
Yeah, with Haggerty just front and center right in the slot, waiting on that draw. See if they can get it to him.
Higgs faces off against Tuck, and Tuck wins the draw. He'll end up getting it out of the zone, but Bradley's there to grab it and sends it back down into the USA zone. McLeod behind his own net to set back up. Gets it up to Glover. Glover ahead to Larkin. Ryan Larkin gets it across the blue line, takes a shot. Glove save by Soffer.
Big collision down there behind the USA net. Neal real slow to get up. I think he might have run into McLeod.
He's skating off without his stick, and Minnie is trying to send him his stick, which is intact. He doesn't look like he knows what's going on here. He's heading off. He's heading back into the RPI locker room. We'll have to see if we see Matt Neal here again tonight. It was a pretty big collision behind the play. I'm kind of worried if he's skating off without his stick there. He might not have all of his senses to him. Usually that's something you want to grab before you take off. But we're going to have the face-off coming up to the left of Sofer after the glove save. Bella up against Hitchcock. The forward from Manhasset, New York, as we mentioned, is a Yale commit, so another guy who we'll be seeing here at the Fieldhouse in the future. Bella comes away with it behind the RPI net. He skates up and out of the Engineers zone, across the red line. Get over to Schrader. Has to circle around to grab the pass. He drops it for Bubella along the near boards. And we've got a whistle and a penalty coming up. Must be against the Engineers here. A cross check. Looks like they're going to get Schrader. No, it's Belpedio again. Second time in a row that Belpedio draws a penalty that I thought was against RPI.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty check there. Could have been a cross check, could have been a check from behind, could have been boarding. Definitely something you can't do.
So with 13:20 left in the second period, RPI going back on the power play. They're 1 for 2 this afternoon. The goal scored by Neal was on the power play.
So now Zaleski coming out on the Engineer power play to replace Neal.
Yeah, Bourbonnais, Higgs, and Zaleski out on this man advantage. We're really seeing Riley Bourbonnais out there for the first time on a power play. And we saw him working the puck just before the goal by Neal earlier. Dolan and Haggerty, the other two out there, as Dolan has the puck along the blue line. Gets Zaleski along the near boards. As he moves into the corner, now moves back along the boards. Pushes it to Higgs. Back to Zaleski in the slot. That's saved by Minnie right between his pads. The face-off coming up in the USA zone.
Yeah, good job by the USA defenseman there. Cleared the front of the net, and Minnie had a nice clear look at that shot from Zaleski from the slot.
Total shots on goal in this game so far. RPI leading 17-7. And the Engineers have had all of the pressure here for most of this second period. As the face-off's won by the Engineers, Bourbonnais gets it back to Haggerty. Haggerty takes a shot from the blue line, gloved down by Minnie.
Another good save, quick shot by Haggerty.
The shot that looked like it might have been
probably
heading off wide, but it's not one that you're going to take a chance on when you're busy killing a penalty.
The Engineers power play, no secrets here. You know exactly what they're doing.
Higgs steps in against Hitchcock, and it's won by RPI. Haggerty at the blue line, moves into the slot, top of the slot, gets it over to Dolan. Dolan gets it down along the near boards to Zaleski. Now to Dolan at the point. Dolan takes a shot that's tipped in front by Bourbonnais. I'm not sure if that ever got on goal, but Team USA scooped it up and sent it down ice. 1:19 left on the penalty to Belpedio as the Engineers set up and start to move back down ice. Hitchcock on the pressure in the RPI zone. Haggerty gets around him, now moves around Bjork. Haggerty moving into the zone quickly, but he has to circle around, and RPI will set up on the power play. Higgs gets it in front to Bourbonnais, he scores! Bourbonnais just tipped a pass by Higgs in the slot, up and over a 6'4" goaltender, Minnie, and the Engineers have taken a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, great play, tic-tac-toe there. Haggerty over to Higgs, over to Bourbonnais. I think the puck just rolled on him at the last second, let him just flip it up, knuckle puck style, into the upper left corner there.
Haggerty was moving through the neutral zone with deliberate speed. It looked like he was going to try and do something himself, but he slowed down, curled around, set up. And if the Engineers score their second goal of the game, they take their first lead of the contest, 2-1. Off the draw, and the puck back in the USA zone where it's been for much of the period, intercepted by Rogic, who keeps it in along the far boards. Just have to poke and forward at the point. He can't handle the pass originally, but he takes a shot that goes just to the left of Minnie. DeVito now doing battle in the corner with Glover. And USA comes away with Milano trying to get up to Bjork, but it's intercepted by Leonard. RPI doing a great job of intercepting passes in the neutral zone here in the second period. Milano ends up taking Leonard all the way into the corner, and Team USA is going to come away with it in the RPI zone. Tries to push it around the net for Gersic. And it's taken by Rogic and sent out, and the Americans recover near their own blue line. Belpedio gets it up ahead to Bjork. Bjork drops it for Gersic, takes a shot that goes wide. Leonard looked like he wanted to try and tip it, but decided it was going wide and just let it go. It's taken by Bokenfor. Gets it over back to Leonard. Now Rogic will move it out of the zone to Schrader. Schrader through the neutral zone, across the blue line. Tries to get around his man. Has McGowan with him, but cut to the net. Didn't keep control of the puck. Now back on the puck is Schrader. He loses it to Team USA. They'll get it right out of the zone, sent right back in from near the Team USA bench. Now Fortunato circling around. He has McGowan who's bringing the forechecking pressure. Drops it back behind his own net. It's sent out of the zone. That pass by Belpedio goes all the way down the ice. And this is an icing call on Team USA. It might be kind of a mistake that you'd see guys with a little bit less experience make, trying to connect on that pass.
Yeah, USA is getting a little bit away from the game they were playing in the first period. They're starting to try and fly a little higher, make some stretch passes.
Goal by Riley Bourbonnais, who's still looking for his first official collegiate goal. Was from Higgs and Haggerty at 7:37 as Team USA gets a couple of shots on Minnie. Still working the puck down near him. Engineers come away with it once again as they continue to pressure the USA goal. Team USA comes away with the puck. They wanted a penalty for holding there, I think. They're not going to get. They actually are.
Back official has his hand up.
The back official going to call it after all as the Mini off on the delayed call. Team USA with the puck in the RPI zone. Tapped by McGowan. They're going to whistle it dead. And a slashing call is going to be the key here.
Yeah, USA players coming out of the zone there was a bit of a tie up, and then he had the stick slash right out of his hands.
Maybe Bubella heading off on the slash. RPI back to the penalty kill. This is going to be their second kill of the night. They are 1-for-1 thus far.
USA rolling the first five here with Tuck, Larkin, and Milano, and Doherty and Fortunato back at defense.
Tuck and Milano are especially a couple of guys that are likely to have real bright futures in college hockey. Milano from Massapequa, New York, going to Boston College as well as Tuck, so these guys are going to be very familiar with each other in the near future. Fortunato has it at the blue line. It's over to Doherty. Doherty just whips it down behind the net for Tuck. Tuck curls around, gets it up to Fortunato at the point. Fortunato over to Doherty. Fortunato again just drops it behind. Milano tries to grab the puck, but he's taken off by Dolan. Intercepted by Tenorti and Bradley, and sent the length of the ice as RPI changes their penalty killers with 1:23 left on the slashing call against Milos Bubella. Team USA moving back up ice. Larkin grabs the puck on the logo and is sent in by Milano, where it just dribbles in on Sofer, and he's going to make the stop. Jake Sofer looking pretty calm and collected down there. He doesn't look like he's got an awful lot. And he looked maybe a little bit nervous on the first set of plays, which ended up with the puck in the back of the net. But he's looking a lot better now. Face-off won by Team USA. Glover moves it to Bjork. And it's intercepted by Leonard. Leonard tries to get it out, but it's blocked by Bjork, staying in the zone. Hitchcock, one-touch pass to Bjork. Now back to Hitchcock. Glover at the point. Over to Hitchcock. Cross-ice pass for Gersich is saved by Sofer as Gersich tried to pull the trigger on a one-timer and didn't get all of it. Sofer ends up on top of the puck with 49 seconds left on the penalty to Bubella. Yeah,
it was a good passing series by the USA. Just tic-tac-toe and just a little backdoor Gersich, I guess it was. Just a little whiff on it. I think the puck was just in his skates.
Some good looks here for the USA power play. Glover takes a shot from the point that's blocked by Schrader, who can't find it in his feet. He goes back to Karate, who's doing battle with Hitchcock down along the near boards. Now LaBeouf behind his own net, trying to find some room to move the puck out of the zone. It's to Karate, and Karate is just going to shovel it down ice. And it's going to be Belpedio giving chase with 27 seconds left on the man advantage for Team USA. Bringing up ice is Belpedio. He drops it off for Hitchcock. Hitchcock to Gersich, back to Hitchcock. Team USA has to reset back up because Hitchcock didn't maintain his momentum. They had to get back out of the zone. Kills a little bit more time off the penalty for the Engineers. LaBeouf now behind his own net. And McGowan doing battle with Hitchcock. The Engineers still can't clear the zone. The power play is over. But Team USA maintaining the pressure as Hitchcock grabs it with Karate unable to get it out of the zone. Now Belpedio moves in from the point. I think that was blocked in front by LaBeouf as Belpedio took a nice shot. I don't think Sofer saw it or ever got to it. Doesn't matter now as Bubella gets it out. Has 2-on-2 if he hurries. Now he has a breakaway if he hurries, but it's quickly sticked away by Minnie. Good move there by the American goaltender to keep that puck out of danger. Bradley now keeps it in at the point, but it's taken by McLeod. Now RPI intercepts in the neutral zone. Fulton brings it back in, moves around his defender, has wide open spot, takes a backhanded shot that's saved by Minnie. A nice move there by Travis Fulton, but he can't finish it off with the goal.
Yeah, he had Higgs going to the back door, decided to take it himself. Not a bad play, but Minnie was there for the save.
Just a reminder, you're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. My name's Tom Reel. I am here with Teo Camadella. Almost got it that time. Engineers win the faceoff as Travis Fulton goes behind the USA net to grab it. Gets it ahead for Haggerty, who's in a headlock. And now Haggerty is coming to somewhat of blows with Joe Wegworth, who had him in the headlock. And they both still want to go after each other. They have 3 officials trying to separate them, and they both are intent on going after each other. Wegworth is certainly going to be going off here for some kind of penalty. He had Haggerty in a headlock. Haggerty certainly retaliated. He's likely to be sitting down as well. It's one of those things where if you what are you supposed to do when you're being hogtied like that?
Oh, it all depends on the player. Some guys will keep a cool head. Looks like Wegworth's going to head straight to the locker room here.
Yeah, Wegworth is at least
7:20 left in the period. To see if they gave him a 10 or if they just gave him the game. And Haggerty is sitting in the box down below us. But really, it depends on the player. Some guys they can't keep their head about him and they'll go back after him. But some guys realize that it's for the betterment of the team just to take it, just to let it happen and go up a man. So
Joe Wegworth, Notre Dame commit from nearby Brewster, New York. I believe that's down in Putnam County. Down in the Hudson Valley.
Yep.
So he's not too
Way
far
down
from
there
home.
near the city.
He's at least sitting for the rest of the period. We're going to find out exactly what the penalty is. Ryan Haggerty is sitting in the RPI penalty bench. We're still getting it sorted out. CJ Hannafin, who was a linesman here last night for the game against the Denver Pioneers, is trying on the official stripes. Some of you may remember CJ Hannafin, a former forward for the Engineers, maybe about going on 10 years ago, I suppose. It's a 5-minute major against Wegworth. So, understandably, he's likely going off for game misconduct. So, a face masking call against Wegworth will end his afternoon early. Haggerty goes off for roughing. So, we've got a 5-minute penalty and a 2-minute penalty on the board. I suspect that's going to lead to a 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes, and then a 3-minute power play for the Engineers after the Haggerty penalty expires. So.
Yeah, Haggerty will sit the 2. It'll be 4-on-4. Somebody from the USA bench. It looks like Wagner will go to sit the 5 on Wegworth's behalf, and.
Kind of wonder what got into Wegworth there. It didn't look like he had been provoked at all. He just suddenly had Ryan Haggerty in a headlock, and he's nights over for a face mask. Anyway, we are 4-on-4 here. The face-off won by the Engineers. They keep it in the zone. Travis Fulton gets it up to Karate at the point. Karate takes a shot. Went off somebody behind Minnie. That certainly got past him. But it bounces out. Might have hit a defender, might have hit an Engineer. Not sure. Doesn't matter. As the puck is now moving down ice. Team USA trying to get control of it, but can't. Karate is going to swing around for Zaleski. Now LaBeouf. Good up ice for Karate along the near boards. He'll bring it out of the RPI zone. Karate crosses the logo, drops it off for Higgs. Higgs gets around his man and takes a shot saved by Minnie. Higgs is getting really good deking around defenders. He did it again right there.
Yeah, good move off that wall by Higgs. I think it was a week ago. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Higgs walked in right off of that same wall and walked around a defenseman with that familiar looking toe drag and then slid it through the 5-hole of the goaltender there.
That's straight from the Pavel Datsuk school right there. It's worth noting we still haven't seen Matt Neal since he kind of woozily skated off the ice without his stick. It was earlier here in the second period. Face-offs won by Team USA. Milano and Tuck, the Boston College commits, bring it across, but it's taken by RPI and just sent out. Milano now on his own blue line, moves across the logo, tries to get around Bokenfor, but it's taken by Bubella. Bubella moving out of the RPI zone, gets held up at the blue line, and Team USA takes over. This is Milano doing battle along the RPI bench with McGowan. Puck goes into the USA zone, and Doherty curls around as the Americans try to break back out. This is Fortunato over to Milano. Milano has Tuck with him, 2-on-3. As Milano tries to drop it off for Tuck in the slot, goes wide, and Zaleski takes and will go up ice. RPI 3-on-2 if they hurry. Zaleski pushes to McGowan, and McGowan sends it wide. That shot will carry him off and go all the way down into the neutral zone. It's picked up by Feigl. His pass is intercepted by Zaleski. Zaleski just brings it back into the RPI zone. Drops it for Bokenfor. Bokenfor tries to pass, but it's intercepted by Feigl. Feigl drops it in front, and Team USA just can't pull the trigger. That was Bjork down in the slot, all alone in front of Soffer. Now the puck back down into the Team USA zone. RPI about to go on the power play, and they are. This is a major penalty now as Haggerty comes out. He comes out and he's asking for the puck right away. Shot by Bourbonnais goes off the side of the net. Gets it to Haggerty in the corner. Now Karate at the point. Karate out to Dolan. Dolan circling around, back over to Karate. Karate with a slap shot. That's blocked in front of the net by Glover. And Team USA sends all the way down ice. 2:37 left on the major penalty to Wegworth. The first 2 minutes of that penalty were taken up by a 4-on-4 with Ryan Haggerty also in the penalty box. The puck is shot around the back of the USA net and back out of the zones. Dolan collects. It's it over to Leonard. Dolan and Bradley playing catch. Dolan and Leonard playing catch. Up for Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais around to DeVito. Now Bourbonnais again. He's looked good on the power play tonight. Drops it to Haggerty. Haggerty over to Dolan. Dolan at the top of the slot. Fakes the shot and comes around instead. By the near boards, now into the corner. Gets up along the far boards to Leonard. Behind the net. Over to Haggerty in the slot. He walks in. Shot is, I think Minnie got a piece of that and ended up to his right, to his left, but a dangerous opportunity there for RPI as Ryan Haggerty set up right where he likes to set up at the top of the slot. Couldn't find the back of the net. 3:56 left to go in the second period. RPI with a 2-1 lead with 1:33 left on the penalty to Wegworth as RPI tries to bring it back into the zone. Now McGowan loves down an errant shot. Loses his stick, though, has to go off. And that allows Team USA to recover control of the puck. Hitchcock moving up 2-on-2, shorthanded with Pavlik. Pavlik takes a shot that goes just wide. RPI collects now with Tenorti. And now Bokenfor across the blue line, across the red line. Moves it in to the Team USA zone and drops it for Bubella. Bubella across the ice pass to McGowan. McGowan along the far boards. Tries to find Bokenfor behind the net. He's being harassed by Collins. He'll backhand it over behind the net to Tenorti. Tenorti along the near boards up to Dolan at the point. Dolan fakes a shot and goes over to Tenorti instead. Tenorti takes a shot that's saved by Mitty right into the breadbasket. And then some more extracurriculars in front as it looks like Collins pushed McGowan, who then ran directly into Mitty, who played out on the ice.
Yeah, just not a very intelligent play by Collins there. All he's going to do is fall straight on your goaltender. Minnie doing a good job here so far. Looks like he has 26 saves, including that one that he barely made on Haggerty. Intelligent shot, smart shooter like Haggerty knows that there's a space right underneath the arm as Minnie would drop into that butterfly.
Not much going on for Team USA here in the second period. They have only 9 shots in the whole game. RPI wins the faceoff. Shot is saved by Minnie and then sent all the way down ice as RPI approaches the end of this major penalty. 35 seconds left for the face masking call against Wegworth. Higgs moves it through the neutral zone, tries to drop it for Karate, but can't get it to him before he moves across the line, and that's going to be offsides on the Engineers. 2:47 left in the second period. RPI holding on to a 2-1 lead. The goals by Matt Neal and Riley Bourbonnais, both coming on the power play. Although RPI has done a great job here in the second period maintaining pressure in the American zone. RPI wins the faceoff. Haggerty up to Karate. Karate gains the zone. Slots it into Higgs. Higgs around behind the net to Zaleski. Zaleski on the far boards, moves in, drops back to Higgs behind the net. Now Zaleski comes over, leaves for Haggerty at the point. Dolan takes a shot that's saved by Minnie. Puck goes into the corner, and Dolan grabs it there. Dolan tries to keep it away from his man. Doherty pushes off. Power play is over. As Zaleski tries to get in towards the net, he's held up there by Belpedio. Looks like he's trying to find Haggerty now, but the puck squirts out of the zone. RPI will have to regroup as Haggerty collects in the neutral zone. The Engineers send it back down into the American zone. It's picked up by Belpedio, who brings it behind the USA net. Tries another headman pass for Milano, but Bjork picks it up in the neutral zone. Milano now looking to find Bjork, but it's blocked by LaBeouf. And now all three will go into the corner. Schrader comes away with it, and he'll come out of the USA zone. He has Bubella to his right, and he drops to Bubella. Bubella comes in, almost gets around his defender, but can't keep control of the puck, and it's just sticked away by Minnie. As the Americans bring it out of their zone. Larkin now 2-on-3, has Tuck with him, gets it behind the RPI net. Reno is trying to impede his progress. Now Reno gets Tuck up against the boards in the corner, in the far corner. Opportunity there for Milano, but he can't grab the puck right in front of the net. Now Fortunato up at the blue line, sends it in. And it's picked up by Bubella to the right of Soffer. The Engineers get out of their zone, and Bradley brings it ahead and takes a shot, but they're going to say that the Engineers were offsides, as it looks like the Engineers might have just had a stride over that blue line before that shot.
Yeah, the U18's getting a little bit away from the game they were playing earlier, using their speed, but now they're trying to stretch a little bit too much, I think, and they're not having any luck.
Certainly has been all RPI here in the second period as we approach the final minute of the middle stanza. The Engineers win the faceoff in the neutral zone. Bourbonnais drops it into the zone for Rogic. Rogic behind the net, finds Fulton. Fulton spins around Belpedio, tries to cut to the net, can't, so he just backhands it over to Karate at the blue line. Karate sends it back down into the zone. It's picked up by Rogic along the near board. He has Bourbonnais working with it. Puck goes around behind the net into the far corner with Fulton. And Team USA still trying to poke the puck free. That is eventually poked free by Hitchcock, but it's going to be RPI called, I think, for interference here, as Karate just dumped Hitchcock after he sent the puck down ice.
Yeah, smart play by Hitchcock. Chip the puck and skate around him. I'm sure 10 years ago that wouldn't have been a penalty, but that's one of the things that they're really trying to get rid of in the game.
You can see those two guys, same two guys, do battle next year, as Hitchcock will be matriculating at Yale come next season. So Luke Karate off for interference with 27 seconds left in the second period. RPI has a 2-1 lead. They'll be back on the penalty kill, which is 100% so far tonight. Higgs intercepts the pass at the blue line. He's ready to go off to the races. Has Fortunato to beat. Gets the puck around him. The puck ends up down near the far corner. Goes in behind the USA net. Higgs is doing battle with Doherty now. And Higgs is basically a one-man wrecking crew here on this penalty kill. As the puck gets frozen in the far boards, Brock Higgs has pretty much single-handedly killed 23 seconds of that penalty.
Yeah, the officials gave him a little break there. The quick whistle, I think they're...
yeah, the puck really wasn't that frozen down there.
They know that this is just a scrimmage, and that probably, 3 seconds left in the period, probably somebody could have gotten hurt.
So the face-off comes to the right of Edwin Minnie. This will be McGowan facing off against Larkin with 3.1 seconds left. USA wins the draw. Doherty grabs it and just takes it into the corner as the whistle sounds. Now some more pushing and shoving, as it looks like Dolan and Fortunato are having words. But it's quickly extinguished by the officials. And we've come to the end of the second period. The Engineers down 1-0 coming into the second, now up 2-1, and that's certainly a big break from what we've seen from RPI in the second period in recent memory. They've had a rough go of it.
Definitely, they've been the last few weeks here. They've been coming out strong, and then sort of fallen off. I think they earlier in the season they gave up a 3-1 lead to Harvard, and that game ended in a tie. And against Denver, they went up 1-0 and ended up losing 2-1 in overtime. So historically, the second period hasn't been that good, but they kept the pressure on. They kept their feet going and got some penalties called for them, and came out of that period with a lot of shots on net and 2 goals to show for it.
Very dominating period by the Engineers. We weren't really craning our necks to the left very much to watch what was going on down near Jake Sofer's net, and it's been almost a complete reversal of fortune for the Engineers from what we've seen recently. The Engineers lofted 20 shots on net in that second period against only 3 for the Americans. That's a big reason why they're up 2-1 right now. So we'll see if they can maintain that kind of pressure into the third period of play. We're going to take a quick break here at Houston Fieldhouse. When we come back, we'll be talking a little bit about the Autism Awareness Night going on here at Houston Fieldhouse. Your score after 2 periods of play is RPI 2, Team USA 1. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
Number 7, puck number 7 is the winner tonight to the gift certificate with Bombers Burrito Bar. Bombers Burrito Bar proud to support RPI Athletics. Thanks for participating in today's contest. Hey kids, become a junior engineer kid club member. Experience the exciting world of RPI Athletics. Kids club member benefits include birthday parties, meet and greets, and full RPI Athletics access. Log on to rpiathletics.com for more information. Hey fans, we thank you for your support of today's Autism Awareness Game. We invite you to remain after the game, where the Engineers will meet and greet fans in the Engineers Pride area. And while you're out there, purchase a t-shirt to commemorate the day. For your donation, you'll get a t-shirt from the Autism Society of the Greater Capital Region.
And we are back inside the Houston Fieldhouse on the beautiful campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, as we get set to bring you the third period of action in today's exhibition game between the RPI Engineers and the U.S. Under-18 National Development Program team of some kind. Anyway, Team USA, as we've been relatively calling them all evening, or afternoon, I suppose. Your score after 2 periods of play, as we begin to start the third period, is RPI 2, Team USA 1.
I'd just like to thank the Rensselaer Union, which provides funding for WRPI and all the club-related activities of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. I'd like to remind you that WRPI is on the web. You can visit WRPI.org, and you can pick up the broadcast 24/7. As long as WRPI is broadcasting, it will be on the internet feed. Once again, WRPI.org.
Thank you very much, Tio. My name is Tom Reel. I am joined this lovely afternoon by Tio Camadella, who's doing a pretty decent job, if I must say so myself, on the color call here this afternoon. So far, 3 goals in this contest. Jared Feigl got the goal scoring started just a minute 6 into the game for Team USA. The assists were to Dylan Pavlik and Nolan Stevens, made it 1-0 Team USA. That's what it was going into the second period. RPI got 2 power play goals in that period as Matt Neal scored from Brock Higgs and Bo Dolan. And got it at goal came at 1:14 of the second period. And then at 7:37, Riley Bourbonnais scoring from Brock Higgs and Ryan Haggerty. So that's where we stand right now. The Engineers holding a 2-1 lead. We haven't seen Matt Neal since he was involved in a collision, I'd say during the first half of the second period. Looked a little woozy coming off the ice, but he's going to have plenty of time to heal up. Looking down at the RPI bench, still don't see him down there. Probably fair to say that even if he was doing okay, you might want to keep him out of the rest of this game.
Yeah, just due to the nature of this game and the fact that it's not a real contest. They've had a busy weekend. Also worth mentioning, we have yet to see Joe Wegworth back. Of course, I'm sure he has his street clothes on at this point. He's
got a game misconduct
on. 5 in a game,
exactly.
For face masking.
Engineers start off the third period on the penalty kill as Luke Karate has 1:34 left on his penalty, which was for cross-checking towards the end of the third period. We are underway. Team USA has to go back to grab it in their own zone after the Engineers win the faceoff. Bradley just swats away at the blue line, and the Americans once again must retreat to their own zone to collect. This is Doherty behind his own net. There's 5 Americans in blue come across their own blue line. Fortunato ahead to Milano. Milano is checked on the boards by Leonard, and it's sent out of the zone by Zaleski. So Team USA once again has to go back and regroup with 57 seconds left on the penalty to Karate. Doherty across the red line, sends in, and it's Larkin going back to grab, but Bradley pins him up against the boards. Tuck comes along to help out, and he pushes it ahead to Milano. Now Doherty along the blue line, skates across. That's quickly legged away by Soffer. A nice move by the freshman to get that out of danger. The Engineers collect it and send it back down ice. 28 seconds left on the penalty to Karate. 18:51 left in the third period. RPI up 2-1. The Americans waiting behind their own net as Delpedio tries to move it for Gersich, but the Americans are offsides.
Yep, still trying to get a little continuity going here on the power play. The Larkin, Tuck, Milano line had a little bit of pressure, but never quite got set.
They're looking good coming out of their own zone, but as soon as they cross that red line, the Engineers have given them all kinds of fits on the penalty kill. Glover sends it in as the seconds tick away on the penalty to Karate. Hitchcock behind the RPI net has it taken away by Dolan. Dolan sends down along the boards. Power play is over. RPI still perfect on the penalty kill this evening. Pass up for Glover is intercepted by Roddick. It goes out. Glover just sends it back down into the zone. The Engineers collect and go back down ice with Roddick. Roddick and Bubella moving into the zone. Bubella pushes down behind the USA net. Comes around for Schrader, who's been busy tonight. Schrader on the far boards goes down by Hitchcock. No call there as Team USA grabs control of the puck and moves it out. Pavlik sends it down ice. That's an icing call on Pavlik, and who really needed to be better aware of where he was after he sent it down ice off of the boards near the RPI bench.
Yeah, not a bad play, that chip. Just a little more angle on it, or maybe a little height. Have it roll down there. The RPI defense were close to touching it up.
Don't think he was trying to accomplish that going all the way down the ice. He was certainly, I think, trying to bounce it to someone specific, but it didn't end up with anybody. 17:52 left in the third period. RPI holding on to a 2-1 lead as the Americans win the faceoff in their own zone. Send the puck back down ice as they try to get their change after the icing. Karate has to go back to grab it for RPI. He gets it ahead to Higgs at the blue line. Now Higgs will send it down. It's picked up behind the net, dropped off by Minnie. And now the Americans moving back out, or trying to move out, I should say. Bellatier, some good pressure by Higgs, keeping it bottled up in the USA zone. Now Wagner at the red line. Crosses the red line, just sends it in. Soffer goes behind the net and leaves it for Bokenfor. Bokenfor sends it to Fulton along the near boards. Now Reno fighting for it with Bjork in the near corner. Higgs is also down there helping out. So it gets right up against the near boards. And it's going to be Bokenfor coming away with it. Bokenfor up to Haggerty. Haggerty gets it out of the zone, up for Fulton. Puck crosses the blue line, picked up by Higgs. Behind the USA net, the Americans take back control and move it out of the zone. USA gets over the red line, dumps it in. They change behind the play as RPI goes back to try to collect as Bjork pressures the puck. But he's unable to keep it in the zone as the Engineers clear. Bliss now, who had a tangle earlier with Haggerty, sends it down into the USA zone. Team USA dropped it in front for the slot, but it was just Johnny Dragic sitting there waiting for it, and he'll clear it out, and the Americans have to start from scratch. Team USA's looking like they have a little bit more initiative here in the third period as they've been controlling the puck better than they did in the second, which is all RPI. RPI moving the puck out of their own zone. Picked up by Bliss in his zone, gets it ahead for Larkin. Larkin has three Engineers around him, but he still gets a shot on and saved by Soffer. USA maintains control. This is Doherty on the blue line. Gets a shot that Soffer saw all the way and just kind of blockered down. Now the puck behind the RPI net. Milano will go and give chase. Milano comes along the far boards. Cross ice pass for Doherty. Doherty dumps it down for Tuck. And now picked up by Leonard. Leonard and Milano doing battle on the near boards. That is Larkin down there, as well as Bokenfor. And a penalty coming up on the
Engineers.
On the Engineers.
Bokenfor, check from behind.
A check from behind on Craig Bokenfor, the sophomore from Alberta.
Yeah, you're right. The USA came out a little more urgent. I think the Engineers are a little more tentative in this period. Of course, only up one goal. No matter how many more shots you have than the other team, there's no time to be sitting back. They're going to have to kill this penalty and then step on the gas here.
Minor penalty to Bokenfor is hitting from behind, a little bit less severe than the check from behind. So we'll see RPI back on the penalty kill. They've looked decent on the penalty kill so far tonight. We'll see if they can maintain that good show defensively. Engineers grab the puck and get it out of the zone. Belpedio is now looking for his team to move forward with it. He crosses the logo and sends it in just before hitting the blue line. Higgs is there to grab it before Gersick can get it. Gets it around to LaBeouf. Now Dolan will just slam it all the way down the ice with 1:38 left on the penalty to Bokenfor. The Americans come around their own net. Moving it up ice is Belpedio. Across the logo to Hitchcock. Dumps it in for Gersick. Karate's there to meet Gersick before he gets to the puck. Nice little body check keeps him away. And it's Bubello who just flips it out of the zone. That goes all the way down the ice, and the Americans once again will have to regroup as RPI does another good job of shutting down passing lanes in their own zone on the penalty kill. Hitchcock to Belpedio. Dumps it into the zone just before the blue line. Picked up by Schrader, gets it away from Milano, but it's kept into the point by Glover. Belpedio can't control the pass, and a scrum of players on the blue line just ends up with the puck out of the zone. The Americans regroup along their own blue line. Glover to Larkin, gains the zone, drops it off. Now Glover at the point. Glover tried to pass it along, but had it picked up by Zaleski, but the Americans keep it in the zone. Larkin moves to the far board. His shot is deflected in front by Tuck and goes over the net. That'll allow RPI to grab it and just send it down ice with 25 seconds remaining on the minor to Bokenfour. 13:49 left in the third period. The Engineers with a 2-1 lead, killing another penalty here as the Americans send it into the zone. Reno will try to give chase. And Team USA looks to come away with it, but Zaleski steals it away, and now he'll move down ice himself. Across the red line, he gets held up by Doherty, who may be getting in trouble here as he took a nice whack at Zaleski as he was moving down ice. We're going to see an interference call.
Yeah, same play that we saw late in the last period. Karate, exactly the same spot. Just Zaleski with a little smart chip, kept his feet going, and he gave Doherty no choice but to take him down.
Doherty, a defenseman from Cottage Grove, Minnesota, will be at the University of Wisconsin next year. We're seeing a trend here in most of the schools that a lot of these guys are going to. They're generally big-name programs. So, short 4-on-4 ends. RPI now on the power play. Zaleski along the far boards. Engineers are 2 for 3 so far on the power play. Passed in front by Higgs. Goes through everybody, but Haggerty collects it. Goes over to Dolan on the far boards. Now Zaleski. Dolan moves into the slot. Passes over to Zaleski. Zaleski into the far corner. Collins grabs it. It's kept in by Dolan. Dolan shoves back into the corner for Higgs. Now Zaleski along the far board. Zaleski up to Haggerty, who's walking into the slot, takes a shot that goes wide. Zaleski quickly pounces on the rebound, but curls around to set up once again. Now Zaleski moves into the faceoff circle, takes a shot that goes wide. Now Bourbonnais had a wide open shot, and he just missed it. Dolan has to feed it back down after keeping it in. Now Bourbonnais quickly passing to Zaleski. Dolan moves up to keep the puck in the zone, sends it behind the net for Higgs. Higgs looking directly behind the net, gets it over to Bourbonnais along the near board. Now Haggerty at the blue line, gets it over to Dolan at the other side of the blue line. And the pass for Zaleski is intercepted by a very tired Ryan Hitchcock, who finally sends it down ice. RPI managed to hold the zone for a full minute there. So some very tired penalty killers coming off for the Americans, and some very good pressure there for the Engineers early on this power play chance. This is Bokenfour moving the puck forward up to Leonard, who dumps the puck into the zone. It'll be picked up by Bubella in the corner. Actually, Bubella can't grab it, and Team USA sends it down ice instead with 28 seconds remaining on the minor penalty to Jack Doherty. Now Bokenfour moving up ice once again, gains the blue line, moves along the near boards into the corner. He is met there by McLeod, and he's going to come away with it and send it down ice for the Americans. Picked up in front of the RPI net by Tenorti. Tenorti moving the puck himself now. Passes, looking for Bubella, but this should be icing on RPI. It wasn't called. Power play is over, but RPI certainly beneficiaries there as they move the puck in towards the net. They don't get a shot off, but boy, that probably should have been icing on RPI, and they got a scoring opportunity out of it. 11-12 left in the third period. Engineers with a 2-1 lead, and we're going to have another penalty coming up. This one, a tripping call, I believe, in the USA zone. This is going to go against Team USA. It is Jack Glover, the defenseman from Golden Valley, Minnesota, a future Golden Gopher, in the penalty box for the Americans. So RPI right back to the power play.
Yep, Team USA has to get a little more disciplined. They're a little young and undisciplined, and not working out for them so far today in this period, at least.
RPI with good pressure on the last opportunity as Haggerty takes a shot that goes wide of the net from his usual office at the top of the slot. Now a 2-on-1 if they hurry for Team USA the other way. A shot is saved by Soffer, and he'll fall on top of it. That shot coming from along the far boards by Jared Feigl, who has the goal for Team USA this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he realized it, but he was skating on a one-on-one against Haggerty there, who don't think has much business taking a one-on-one.
Ryan Haggerty not here for his defensive skills, that's certainly for sure. Ryan Haggerty, an alumnus of this team. He was on this team just ahead of play for the Engineers as Feigl takes a shot from the slot that's saved by Soffer. Team USA getting the better of the opportunities here early on this power play for the Engineers.
Yeah, it was a good chance, good battle by Larkin, just scrapping through the slot, and the puck squeaked out for a quick shot by Feigl.
Haggerty, an alum of the U.S. Under-18 team, also Jerry D'Amigo, a former engineer who scored his first NHL goal yesterday for the Toronto Maple Leafs as Team USA wins the faceoff. Takes a quick shot that's saved by Soffer, so we'll have a third straight faceoff on this RPI power play in the RPI zone.
Yeah, Larkin and Feigl doing a good job keeping the pressure up, just battling hard.
It's McGowan in the face-off circle against Larkin. The Engineers come away with it this time, and Oakensford will set up as RPI tries to do something offensively with this power play. McGowan ahead for Bubella. Bubella tries to split two defenders but can't as the puck's stripped from him and ends up back down ice. Soffer, who has played this entire game so far and only allowed one goal on 17 shots, so a good showing here for the freshman goaltender for the Engineers. RPI moves the puck up ice, gain the zone. Team USA grabs it behind the net. And got a whistle here. I think the puck went out of play, but there's also...
It's going to give him 2 penalties.
There's also some pushing and shoving going on, and Tenorti is jawing with Belpedio. Tenorti seems to have had a thorn in his side the entire game to some extent because he's playing with a little bit of passion here tonight.
Yeah, and obviously this NTDP team is a bunch of young kids, so I think they just got a lot of energy trying to push buttons.
Doherty and Belpedio are in the box, in addition to Glover, who was there to start with. Mulish Bubella now in the penalty box for the Engineers, so if this holds up, maybe the Engineers are getting a 5-on-3 out of it. I'm not really sure what the entire fuss was. There was some pushing and shoving, and Tenorti seemed to be the lead aspect of it, but he's back on the RPI bench.
Yeah, we're all the way up here, and the official was standing right there. He could have heard them exchange pleasantries and decide to
that
may be on their way.
That may be part of it. There was certainly a lot of pushing and shoving going on at the time. Tenorti is he's sitting on the RPI bench. He hasn't been sent back to the locker room or anything. Brock Higgs and Alex Tucker, they're talking to the officials about what exactly is going on here. Now the USA box is open again, and Belpedio is stepping out. I think he's asking if he should leave. Instead, he's skating back to his own bench. You don't see that every day. Guys in the box, and he said, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I just showed a replay on the screen. They probably got Bello with a little cross-check, and right on the back of Belpedio, he did down just behind me. And then probably just some roughing, some extracurriculars.
Some coincidentals. Slashing call is the call against Doherty, who actually just came out of the box about a minute ago. And a cross-check call against Bubella. So incidentally, no difference. Still a 5-on-4 power play for the Engineers as they win the face-off. But Dolan can't control it and keep it in the zone. So RPI goes back to regroup. Dolan in his own zone, ahead for Higgs at the red line. Higgs tries to get it across to Zaleski. They gain the zone. Now Higgs has it taken off of his stick. Ends up grabbing it again. Zaleski tries to pass back to Haggerty, but it's intercepted by Larkin. He's coming ahead. He gets a shot on. It's saved by Sofer. Now a shot from a weird angle by Tuck goes wide. As the Engineers certainly not leading in shots on their power play opportunity they have here with 19 seconds left on the original penalty to Glover. This is Haggerty moving into the zone with some speed. Tries to get it around Collins, but can't. Collins grabs the puck and sends it out. Milano in a race now with Leonard as Soffer comes out to corral the puck, send it around. Although the puck bounces in front. Strange bounce by Soffer, who was way out of his net. Came directly in front. There were two Americans there to put it at home, and nobody did. Lucky break there for Jake Soffer and the Engineers. And still maintain their 2-1 lead with 8:53 left. Very strange bounce there as Soffer came out to try and take the puck away with Leonard and Milano trying to chase it down. Team USA now looking to move it out of their zone. RPI power play expired just before that little sequence. Tuck moves it across the crease. This is to Milano. Now Tuck up to Glover at the point. Glover across to Bliss. Bliss skates into the slot. Has it taken off a stick by DeVito, who grabs it and just sends it out. Bliss grabs it and sends it to Glover. Glover tries to push it into the zone, but it's blocked by Leonard. And Parker Reno will go behind his own net to grab. This is Leonard. Bounces it off the far boards for Tenorti. Gets it out of the zone, but Team USA once again pouncing on it as they're looking for the tying goal. Milano drops to Hitchcock. Hitchcock curls around by the near boards. Tries to pass it, but his stick is held up by Reno. And Tenorti moves along the near boards back into the Team USA zone. Schrader in the near board, in the near corner, has it taken away from him by Tuck. Using McGowan, and Tenorti takes a shot that was blocked in front. Now Reno moving in from the blue line, has his shot blocked, and Wagner takes it away. This is Gersick moving across the blue line, 1-on-3. He's taken down. That should be a penalty for interference, but no call there. The Engineers get away with one, as Gersick was taken down with the puck long gone. McGowan gets checked into his own bench by Wagner. As the puck now down behind the USA goal, and the Americans will set up behind their own net. As McLeod moving across to Wagner. Wagner gains the blue line. Nice move to get around Karate. Sets it up in front. Not sure who took that shot, but it went wide, and the Engineers will grab it. This is Karate flipping it ahead for Higgs. Higgs has Haggerty with him. He'll curl around instead to stop. Look for Higgs' pass looking for Haggerty. It was intercepted right in front by McLeod. That gets sent down ice, and Bokenfour will get it for RPI. He's Bokenfour. Tries to get it to Higgs right across the red line. Higgs probably touched it as it skipped wide. No icing call on the Engineers. So he's probably at least managed that glance. Now Team USA moving forward on the transition. Feigl taking off the puck. A nice move there by Bokenfour to check him away from the puck. Now Pavlik in the corner with Zaleski. Leonard and Feigl doing battle. And Bokenfour is the one that comes away with it. Sends it off the glass and down ice. This should be icing on the Engineers, and it is. 6:03 left in the third period. RPI still up 2-1.
Yeah, USA getting a lot of shots here, though. They're getting the count up. That was definitely an interesting sequence down here. I think the goaltender Soffer just sort of lost track of where he was, and he blindly chucked that puck, and it happened to bounce right in front of his own net. Yeah,
the puck bounced off of the goal post from behind and took a weird bounce from there that gave Team USA a wide open opportunity. They just couldn't bury it. Off the face-off, Team USA controlling it behind the RPI net. Shot in front, just goes wide by Larkin. He went through the crease. And Leonard behind his own net to try and get it up to Fulton. Fulton can't get it clear as it's taken off of his stick by Larkin. RPI just trying to get around the forecheck at this point. There's Leonard ahead to Zaleski at the red line. Zaleski dumps it in. Since the Engineers had their skaters out there from before the icing call, they get an opportunity to change it up, and the Americans start off behind their own net, looking to move up ice and maintain this momentum with 5:19 left in the third period. The Americans looking for that tying goal here in this exhibition game against the RPI Engineers. RPI collects the puck in their own zone, and it's sent out by Bradley, but he's iced the puck. And with 5:08 left, the face-off coming up in the RPI zone.
No change for RPI, so we'll see what we get here. Looks like the USA is mixing it up a little. We got Hitchcock, Bjork, and then Tuck, who's normally on the first line, skating with those other two second line guys.
And momentum has certainly been all Team USA here in the last good 5 to 6 minutes for sure. They've been unlucky not to score the tying goal, but RPI doing a good job defensively. Tenorti now through the neutral zone, gets the zone. Not quite. They're going to say Rogic was a step offsides. Not really a time for the Engineers to kind of turtle and try to hold the lead. One goal lead is the most precarious you can have.
Little dump and chase there, but nobody's getting after it with that much urgency in the last few minutes.
Hitchcock versus Bubella on the draw, won by the Americans. Back to Belpedio. And now Glover across the Tuck. Tuck gains the zone. Tries to find Hitchcock in the slot. It's taken by Schrader, and Schrader will bounce it off of the boards, and that's another icing call on the Engineers. Bubella's trying to claim that it was deflected by one of the Americans, but his pleas falling on deaf ears with 4:33 left in the third period.
Yeah, they usually do. Most of these officials won't hear much from any of the players.
Jack Glover getting some ribbing from the RPI fans after he fell off the edge of the bench. A shot by Fortunato goes high over the net. Picked up behind the net by Dolan, who loses it. Gersich takes a shot that goes wide. Now Doherty at the blue line, and the puck goes out, and that's going to be offsides. Just went a little bit wide with his maneuver right there that brought the puck over the blue line. Very clear from here that it was offsides.
Just barely. Still keeping good pressure though. Keeping the Engineers backed up against their own end here.
That's certainly what the Americans want to be doing here as time starts to get tight here. We're approaching 4 minutes left in regulation. The RPI defense holding for now. Schrader moves it ahead into the USA zone. And just to keep Jack Doherty away from the puck. And now Bubella takes a shot, goes just wide of the net. Picked up on the far boards by Leonard. Pushes it down for McGowan behind the net. Schrader is tangling up with Doherty. And now we're going to have some more pushing and shoving after a whistle for a penalty coming up on Team USA. Ryan Wagner doesn't like the call. And LaBeouf is going off as well, so this isn't going to result in a power play. They were the two involved in the pushing and shoving. A 4-on-4 opportunity coming up for the next 2 minutes with 3:48 remaining in the third period. Just a reminder, you're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM. WRPI Troy, Tom Reel, and Teo Camadella with you on the call. Larkin and Higgs set to take the face-off, won by Larkin. Tries to take it away. We are 4-on-4 here, which we will be for most of the remainder of regulation. So we'll see if this open ice benefits Team USA's momentum as they look for the tying goal. Larkin moves it across the blue line into the zone. Swings it around looking for Milano behind the net. Swings all the way around to Bliss at the blue line. Bliss is trying to pass D to McLeod, but it goes out of the zone. RPI picks it up. It's Higgs. Higgs has Fulton and Bradley with him. Higgs cuts directly to the net. Never gets a shot off, but he ran into the side of the net. And we'll have a stoppage of play as the net gets dislodged.
Yeah, good net drive by Higgs there. Just a little energy finally, making the USA defenseman back up. You got to figure that the 4-on-4 favors the NTDP team here because they just have so much in the way of speed. But that combination there, Higgs and Fulton, I think was staying on top of him pretty good. We'll see if Zaleski and Haggerty can do the same thing.
Fulton's had very good speed ever since he first donned the cherry and white. He showed it again last night, and he's showing it again here today. RPI wins the faceoff in the neutral zone. Girardi will try to send it down ice. Collins tried to grab it, and now it's a race for the puck with Zaleski and Billetier. The Americans come away with it. Gersich coming up 2-on-2 with Tuck. Gersich moves across to Tuck in the zone. Karate dumps Tuck down to the ice in the corner. Good play by Karate to take him out of the play. Now Haggerty back to Dolan. Back up to Haggerty. He crosses the blue line to Karate. Can't control the pass. Ends up grabbing the puck and just sending it down ice with 2:42 left in the period. 52 seconds remaining on the 4-on-4. This is Collins for Team USA. Grabs the red line and just sends it down as the forwards change. Schrader will send it ahead. That was probably ill-advised as he was well behind his own blue line sending that down ice. And the icing call against RPI sets up the face-off to the left of Jake Soffer with 2:24 left in the third period.
Yeah, just a little panicky. Sure they'll big draw here for the Engineers. Hopefully they get back on it and can take care of business. 37
seconds remaining on the 4-on-4. Face-off is won by Team USA. Shot from the point by Belpedio goes wide. And now Schrader on the puck behind the net. Passes up to LaBeouf. That's Leonard. Gets the puck over the red line and just sends it down as the defensemen change up. Schrader and Bubella stay out on the ice, pressuring the puck in the USA zone. And Bubella comes away with it on the near boards. Gets to Schrader in the slot, tries to backhand it, but it's moved aside by Glover. Karate over in the corner, can't control it. Puck ends up out of the zone. And now Dolan goes after it. Rogic just comes off the bench, doesn't grab it. Now RPI in their own zone. Dolan ahead to DeVito through the neutral zone. DeVito gains the zone, passes it from along the near boards to Rogic behind the net. Rogic curls back towards the near boards, off the near boards to LaBeouf, and that's sent back down and picked up behind the net by Jack Doherty. Doherty moves it ahead to Hitchcock. Can't get it out of the zone. DeVito tries to grab it, but Team USA still on top of it. Leonard keeps it from going out of the zone. Tenori turns and takes a shot that's blocked in front by Doherty. Now a shot from behind the net goes through the slot. And it's picked up by Hitchcock in the neutral zone. With 1:02 left, we're going to be keeping our eyes on Minnie and see if the Americans are ready to pull their goaltender down by one in the final minute of regulation. Engineers making it hard to do that as they push the puck back into the USA zone. It's McGowan and Higgs trying to pressure on the forecheck. USA gets it out of the zone. It is, I think that was Hitchcock taking the wide-angle shot. Saved by Soffer. It went out of play. Faceoff's going to be coming up in the RPI zone with 39.7 seconds left. I have to think that we'll see Minnie coming out of the net. He didn't look like he was ready to potentially come out, even though the Americans had gained the zone. In fact, he's still in the net. 39.7 seconds left. The face-off in the RPI zone. The Engineers win the draw. Now they're behind their own net with Higgs. And now Minnie kind of skates out like he's looking to potentially come out of the cage. Fortunato trying to carry it out of his own zone. Gets it out. He's into the neutral zone. Now carries across the blue line. Minnie skates to the bench. We're going to see the extra attacker here for the Americans with 14 seconds left in this contest. Zaleski is in the corner with Tuck, tying it up. The Engineers are content to just keep it tied up as we have 3 seconds remaining. Team USA works it free, but there's not enough time left, and the final buzzer sounds. The RPI Engineers will get out of here with a 2-1 exhibition victory. Some very disappointed maneuvers down there by the Americans as Dylan Larkin slammed his stick against the side of the end dashers there. Some frustration on the part of the Americans, who played well in this for about 40 minutes of this game, but have to suffer the loss in a game that probably means a little more for them than it does for the Engineers now that the game's over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's too bad. They mounted a little pressure there at the end. It just wasn't enough. That second period there, you take 3 shots in a period and allow more than 10. You can't really expect to hang on to a 1-0 lead in that situation. So the U.S. with a good first and third period, but just came out a little listless, not very urgent in the second, and paid for it. It
was almost reminiscent of what we've frequently seen from RPI this year. Team USA got out of the gate very quickly. They scored a goal in the second minute of the game. They held that lead for quite some time, but their second period really buried them. They took some foolish penalties. The Engineers took advantage. They got 2 power play goals, and that's all it took. RPI didn't have to be extremely strong in the third period, but they played well enough on defense to get the win.
It's a credit to RPI too, because like we said before, they've been coming out strong in the first period, but they came out with a little bit of a weaker first period, not as strong, but then battled hard in the second, and it took the game with it.
And certainly a feather in Jake Soffer's cap as well. This is his first game action. It doesn't, it's not an official game appearance for him yet, but it certainly has to feel good if you're an RPI fan to see that he made 21 saves on 22 shots against guys that are going to some blue chip schools. They're going to be blue chip recruits for some high-end schools next season.
Yeah, definitely. He had, he made some good saves. I think he wasn't quite ready right when the first shot came down on him, and he kicked it right back out to Feigel's stick. But after that, he stood pretty tall, and the defensive core for RPI definitely picked him up.
There were times when you saw that the the raw candidate that Seth Appert mentioned before the game, and where there was a little bit out of position, wanted to get that one, should have probably controlled the rebound there. There was the opportunity where he came out of the net to play the puck and ended up going off of the goalpost with him well out of the net. Things that you want to kind of improve on a little bit, but as far as the end result is concerned, it certainly has to be a memorable first outing for Jake Stauffer nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a good team, obviously, good skaters, a lot of talent. So it's good for Stauffer to get out and see that and get on the ice.
Well, I'm going to run down the scoring in this game. There's only 3 goals to discuss. So while I run down that scoring, Teo is going to devise his offensive and defensive engineers of the game. The first goal in this exhibition game came just 1:06 into the first period as Jared Feigl scored an even-strength goal from Dylan Pavlik and Nolan Stevens. According to this, that was Feigel's first goal of the season, although that may not actually be 100% accurate. Nope, that is accurate. It's very accurate. Feigel's first goal of the season from Dylan Pavlik and Nolan Stevens. Those do count for them, as the exhibition for the Engineers is considered a regular game for the Under-18 team. Gave the Americans a 1-0 lead, which they held throughout the first period and into the second. RPI on the power play early in the second period at 1:14 of the middle stanza. Matt Neal scoring what would have been his 8th goal of the year had this game counted for statistical purposes for RPI. The assists going to Brock Higgs and Bo Dolan. That made it 1-1. And later on, another power play goal for RPI that came at 7:37 of the second period. To Riley Bourbonnais, a freshman who's still searching for his first official collegiate goal, but he managed to dent the twine here this evening. The assists went to Brock Higgs, who had 2 assists on, who had an assist on both of RPI's goals, and the secondary assist to Ryan Haggerty. Overall, for the Engineers,